Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and finally we have an update on the OpTic situation. They have scheduled some practice over the coming days with presumably their new roster of 4. Who is the 4th man going to be though? We still don't have a great idea, and Shotzzy has seemingly been barred from streaming from the OpTic camp so that he doesn't leak anything. Very much enjoy your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thanks very much indeed for doing that one. Plenty to dive into today. First of all, Doug Sid to Martin baby. Last night was the Elite Stage 1 or Stage 2 qualifiers, whatever the stages they're on now. I would guess it kind of aligns with the pro side, but Doug actually qualified with Boston Bridge. Excited to see that. First of all, quick note on the CDL watch parties. They are now open to new applications. I believe this application kind of form is open for the entire season now, but if you guys want to watch party the major new qualifiers and the events, you've got to sign up by tomorrow. So just thought I'd let you guys know that because they had a set amount of watch parties that are approved for the first major in Raleigh. Now they're opening more applications, so good stuff, but you've got to comply with the rules, that type of stuff. The information is on the website. Now let's talk about these qualifiers then, because qualifying for the Elite of course was a big deal of last night, and this is something that you don't often see in the pro side but can occur certainly in challenges. So here are the Awoba Bobs. Now seemingly this spot here on the left hand side is GA'd. I'm not really sure why, or whether this is maybe it's difficult to get into, or maybe you need to use a glitch to get into it, not exactly sure, but he gets killed from this spot here, and apparently this spot is like banned by the pros, or maybe just the challengers, I'm not really sure, but yeah, Awoba Bob's using this GA'd spot to qualify. Pretty spicy stuff for sure, and also from the European side, or just you know, from EMEA I suppose in general, the Falcons Esports team qualifies. This is the Saudi Arabian team that I'm sure you guys have heard of, and if not, then King of Body is quite a notable name, as back in the day he used to just put up a grand and play iLLeY in 1v1 chals and stuff, and they would play on iLLeY's host, then they'd play on his host, and stuff like that. So pretty cool stuff that they qualified. Excited to see how they get on now. Ping obviously isn't ideal, but still pretty cool to see nonetheless. For the North American side, I thought it was pretty good that Doug's team was pretty much the first to qualify. Boston Reach, they've finally done it. Beans, Kremp, Shawnee, and Doug. Like, honestly, Beans gets a lot of gas, but Kremp is also very good indeed. So impressive stuff, I thought, from the Boston guys, and the Elite will keep going on behind the scenes. And honestly, who knows, if the Boston main team fails to perform, I think Beans and Kremp can both give a good shout to get brought up to that starting roster. Let's talk about the OpTic stuff then, because the last few days have been crazy. There's been so much bait flying around, as well as, oh yeah, sources say this, sources say that. Kind of looking forward to it being over to some extent, but I can't really complain that OpTic have dragged it out for 3 weeks at this point. So whether it's Huke, whether it's someone else, we don't know, but what we do know is that they've pretty much, well, they've got to confirm it soon. This is the schedule for this weekend. They only play, thankfully or fortunately for them, 1 game. So they will get at least 1 week of good practice here, because their first match is on the Sunday. It's against Boston. You know, maybe the hand of the king is going to do Scump a favor here and give them a win, but yeah, still. So Sunday, January the 15th, that is OpTic's first game, and they at least get a couple of extra days practice as a result. And there were rumors from Doug, right, that they were going to change the spawns and update them again on the 9th of January, whether that's going to happen, and if it does happen, whether that actually affects the matches on the weekends. So we'd think, okay, when can OpTic confirm their roster? Because it's taken so long, when do they have to reveal it to the league? We thought, okay, do they have to do it on the Sunday? Will we get the roster reveal at Sunday, January the 15th, 1:30 p.m. Pacific? Like, you know, we will at least know what it is then, but I believe we'll have to know it sooner, because Ben said on stream that Spencer, one of the league guys, says they've got to confirm their roster with the league by Monday so they can create the graphics. I'm pretty sure this has happened before with New York, where New York, or maybe it was another team, but I think it was New York last season maybe, where they told the league on the Mondays, presumably, that yeah, they were going to field this new roster with a royalty or whoever it was going to be, and then the league put the graphic out on stream before New York had actually confirmed it on their own social medias. So they've got to say to the league, so the league has a couple of days to prepare the graphics and get everything ready. That's the lead time the league wants. So by Monday, in just a few days time, OpTic have to confirm to the league what their roster is going to be, and therefore they've got to know what it's actually going to be. Now this I thought was hilarious. This could be a joke here from Shotzzy. Of course, he also says previously Zin is so dog, but I'm not exactly sure whose stream this was in, but he mentioned on stream, or maybe Zoomer's chat, who knows, a couple of days ago, I can't stream, I'm not allowed to. So you guys might notice if you've been on Shotzy's you know, YouTube, or he's on his Twitch, he hasn't streamed in a long time. The last time he streamed, I'm pretty sure, was, we can actually go to it here, 25 days ago, when he was doing the watch party for, I guess, the final week of major qualifiers. That's the last time that Shotzy's uploaded, or, well, put anything on Twitch. The last time he uploaded on YouTube was like 4 weeks ago, so I haven't seen much from Shotzzy, and also he hasn't been like tweeting or anything the last few days. Now, we know that Leakzzy over the last couple of years has been rather proficient at leaking everything under the sun that happens, and can't seem to keep his mouth shut. So I don't know whether they've actually prevented him from streaming, or whether he's just joking here, right? Because he might just be joking around and wants to take some time off, which might be understandable. And also he might realize that, like, if he turns the stream on, he is going to be barraged with questions. At such point, he might, you know, I'm sure that if he'd have been streaming, there'd have been at least 1 or 2 clips we'd have been discussing on this channel where he maybe hints this, hints that, like he tends to do. So either he's decided himself that, okay, probably not the wisest thing to stream here, mate. Maybe let's just chalk it off because, you know, it's going to be difficult. If you're an OpTic player right now and you turn on the stream, obviously Scump can kind of handle it. But if you're not Scump, then you're just going to get so many questions about the situation that it's going to be impossible to have a normal stream. So I can understand why he wants to kind of take off. Or Hex has said, look, mate, like, I'm not letting you do this again. We're not getting any leaks out there, because one thing that OpTic have seemingly done rather well over the last about week and a half is there's been basically no leaks at all coming out of that camp. Either they've shut down the source of the leaks from internally, because initially, as soon as they were making changes, we heard the Arcitys thing, we heard the Pred thing that seemingly they wanted, but the last, you know, 10 days, 11 days, we haven't heard anything from that camp. But apparently they've signed a player and got it sorted because they're practicing in the coming days. As Chrome points out, OpTic Texas have scrim schedules from Friday onwards. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I think they play up until Wednesday. Then maybe they have Thursday off, and then the matches start on Friday for them. But of course, you know, OpTic will still be practicing, I guess, during those days on the weekends, maybe warming up other teams for their matches, stuff like that, to get ready for Sunday. So this means that OpTic must have a team prepared, right? They must have a team of 4 ready to go if they are to schedule the scrims. Now, is this a team with Dashy returning? I surely think that's an impossibility at this point, especially in light of the fact that there have been other rumours about them making a change. Now, yes, I think Ben said on stream that all that Zuma and Parasite were saying the other day about the fact that, oh yeah, there's this massive move that's happened, big buyout, OpTic have just dropped a massive bag, a source says that it's legitimate and it's going to go through. That might just have been kind of smoke and mirrors. But Doug on stream, now also Doug is not exactly the most trustworthy source, but he also said a similar thing, that he's heard a massive move that's going on here that's, you know, apparently hasn't been leaked to the public, that he's surprised hasn't been leaked to the public. So either they're all just stringing us along for the ride, or there is indeed a pretty big move that they've just done behind the scenes over the last few days, that the name of which hasn't really been leaked to the public. Now, of course, people are still hoping for OpTic Pred to be a thing. It does seem very doubtful that's going to happen at the present time, but just a quick clip here from Attach kind of confirming that indeed they are scrimming against them, and also the fact that the Minnesota versus OpTic drama of the very first weekend of the season has maybe kind of been squashed to a certain extent.
Guys, I have good news.
What is?
It's been confirmed that the Minnesota Rokkr and OpTic Texas have a scrim versus each other again.
Oh, intel.
Damn.
Wait, so that means
I think
OpTic has a roster.
I think we're in their good graces now. We dropped beef.
There's a lot of heads
Scammy,
against it.
nice.
I know
Scammy.
someone knows.
I know
Scammy.
Thought it was interesting there, actually, the fact that Attach said that they've got some scrims against OpTic, basically saying that after the SAE drama of the first weekends, OpTic were refusing to scrim them. It's kind of what that implies, right? Because he's like, oh yeah, it seems like the beef is gone now, we're back to practicing against each other. But and even Scump said in kind of an interview he did pre-Major 1 that, like, he still thinks they're scumbags. I'm pretty sure it's what he said in the video. So yeah, maybe that's all gone now, and maybe understandably, because they've got bigger priorities to focus on the OpTic guys in actually rescuing their season. Now the question is though, who is OpTic's 4th going to be? Because the rumor is that it's going to be Scump, it's going to be Shotzzy, iLLeY is going to stay, Dashy gone, and then someone else to come through. Now you know, Doug of course says last night on stream that he's shocked how he somehow has known OpTic's 4th, but there's been no leaks about it. So either he's just joking around. I couldn't find a clip of this, unfortunately, because I think he turned off clips or something on his channel. I couldn't find any from the last like 20 days, but he's still been streaming. So look, there's some rumors, right? Obviously Huke is probably the main one, and the one that maybe makes the most sense as it stands. It's obviously a bit of a risk for not only Huke but also OpTic themselves, given playstyles, and it's not guaranteed to work by any means. But reuniting the Zeo guys with Scump there as well, I think it makes sense. I really want to see Scump on the flex, so I hope they can make that happen. The other way to make that happen maybe is to bring in a guy like Asim, who probably could be acquired off London, but also that would involve some difficulty as well. And Asim has been on stream, on Zuma's stream the last couple of days, talking about similar topics. So, you know, I kind of doubt that's going to be happening if he's been there present in those discussions. So if it's not Asim, then, you know, maybe it's Huke. It could be Gunless as well, but like, you know, if it was Gunless and they wanted Gunless, they could have got him so easily. He's not even signed anywhere. They could have just picked him up with no issues at all if they wanted him ages ago, rather than waiting all this time. So either Ben is kind of correct in what he said, that they don't really know what they're doing until seemingly now, and they've taken quite a long time to figure out what their plan is going to be, or it's just taken time to actually get a deal done, and maybe Scump's been like, look, please Hex, buy me a good Christmas present and buy out to Pred and give him all the bags that you need need to give him to make this work. So, yeah, intuit your thoughts in the comment section below. There's a few options that are flying around. There's some that seem far less likely than others. The main discussion, of course, is still around Huke and making that work, like whether Beans was ever on the cards or not. I do wonder if one day we'll ever get to see kind of the full story here. I'm sure that at some point in the future, Scump will either do a video or it'll be in an OpTic video or something like that. Probably not this season, maybe at the end of this season when Scump's retired and it's all said and done, that they'll go through and explain exactly what the thought process was here behind the scenes. But also, if Dashy is indeed dropped, as he almost certainly is, they've got to announce it at some point themselves, in addition to their new signing, and then Dashy's got to find somewhere to go as well, which is going to be far from easy. And even if they don't sign Huke OpTic, then Dashy and Huke are in a rather similar boat, from, you know, being phenomenal players to struggling to find a spot and hoping for Major 2 to cause some upsets and some blow-ups with some top teams so they can step into those roles. One team that might be making another change after Major 2 is the Los Angeles Guerrillas. Now, I thought this is kind of funny last night from Arcitys. Is Tyler okay to seemingly, I think, is it the fiancé of aBeZy now, or just the girlfriends? But as he was getting turned on. Now, as a result of this, I think Jetski might have come out here on stream and put this up, which basically was leaking, which apparently some of these might not even be legitimate, but apparently this was leaking the scrim results for LAG versus FaZe. So we can see here FaZe won the Fortress hardpoint 250 to 104, won the Hotel, won the Embassy, won the Mercado pretty close, and then lost the Hydro hardpoint. Apparently, that was the 5 matches in hardpoint that apparently they played between Atlanta and Los Angeles Guerrillas. Now, I think that, you know, maybe these were brought up to roast LAG, but this isn't really a massive roast, right? LAG are a brand new team with a roster that isn't expected to be phenomenal. They've only lost, you know, they've won 1 map against FaZe. They've gone pretty close in 3 of them, if indeed these numbers are legitimate, because Jetsi came in the replies and said that actually these are fake, by the way. But, you know, would he say they were legitimate, right? Is he trying to pretend that they're actually not legit so that he can, you know, not get in bad books with the FaZe boys? I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think whether this is exactly the format that Mack would use in his spreadsheets. This is the font that he uses, the font that he uses for LAG and Atlanta here. This is the font that Mack uses for his spreadsheets. I'm not sure this top one is. So maybe a bit further investigation from the COD scene is going to be required. But yeah, maybe some scrim leaks here from Atlanta versus Los Angeles Guerrillas and their results. And if this is the case, then I don't think it's particularly bad for LAG with their roster. Joe the Thieves, Hicksy coming in, Assault of course, with Arcitys. I honestly still don't expect that roster to last the test of time in this season. I think there will be some further changes down the line, but nonetheless, they could at least be somewhat competitive this season. And even Arcitys goes on to say you can't really mess with anyone nowadays because stuff like this is going to happen. But very much enjoy your thoughts in the comment section below. And just to close out with this from Brian Sats, I thought it was really cool. Most 1.20 plus KD events in a season. The record is held by Scump. That will never be broken, more than likely, because Advanced Warfare, there were so many events last season. For him to do that with the sub, I mean, think about it. This entire list is full of AR players, and Scump is the only one on this whole list who uses an SMG, and he tops the whole lot, right? Just goes to show that Advanced Warfare Scump was just complete peak Call of Duty player. Formal wasn't too far behind, though, because most players here only appearing here once. Okay, like, we've got Dashy on here a couple of times, but Formal had 5 events with a 1.20 plus KD in World War II, Advanced Warfare, and Infinite Warfare, which is really impressive, to be honest. Cellium as well, the fact that he had all 6 events in Vanguard positive and didn't win a single one is kind of crazy as well. But very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.